is your March 2024 soul story. Happy solar returns if you have a birthday this month. This is for your sun rising or your moon sign. It's Romy here. Thank you so much for joining me on my channel. Nice to welcome you to this cosmic conversation. We're going to open up the month with the energy of the Two of Wands, and you are in pursuit of something more purposeful. I think March is going to see you really wanting to invest in yourself in new ways. And what I really like is that there's a flexibility that you bring to the table. You understand that the changing circumstances that are continuing to happen around you, this flux energy, is actually something that I won't say that you're becoming used to it, but you're certainly becoming more adept at navigating it. And that means that your ability to make decisions and really receive these ethereal messages from the divine are supporting a much more kind of inspired action in the month of March. Now we've got all of the planets free of retrogrades right through to the 20th before we'll start some shadow. And again, in that time, it gives you a little bit of a green light, and you will feel that urgency to start moving. Now, there's with that a sense of almost like less is more, and in your desire to want to strip away, I think you're also going to be looking very much at sort of what feels conditional in your life, you know, the requests that are being put upon you, like the connections that you're in. You might even be aware of where you yourself are expressing things that also feel quite conditional, because all of that is starting to feel a bit restrictive. And so this is a month where we might be shaking and moving things up a little bit. Now, we enter into March on the 1st with Sun sextile to Jupiter, this positive, optimistic feeling about what is, you know, ahead and what we can achieve. And as we make our way towards the new moon in your sign on the 10th, coming in at 20 degrees, you're definitely looking over, you know, quality over quantity and kind of considering what that is going to take. What I'll say to you is it's really about the days in between. That Two of Wands, you know, helping you with the planning and the preparation, but how do you respond to the days in between the completion or the receiving of the things that you desire? What do you feel about them? How are you honoring them? Because so many of us, you know, can shift into that state of frustration or monotony, or, you know, just kind of getting confused or chopping and changing our mind because perhaps we feel something isn't happening quick enough, or we're not seeing the evidence, or we're not getting the clarity. But this is very much about a time where you're learning to be where you are, that there is no chase, no urgency, and that you can feel that you belong to yourself in those moments and those days in between. We've got our Three of Cups coming in here, and there is a sense of community and support here for you. But again, as I look at how sort of inveigled like these like hoops are, this is what I'm talking about with the conditional piece. I just sort of feel like someone is almost saying, yes, I can do this, but this is what I need. And of course there's a reciprocity, and it's about finding a healthy energetic exchange and a balance in regards to that. But I think the new moon in Pisces is affording you a sense of kind of real creative outlook at sort of how something can be improved upon or changed. And if you are in situations where others are not willing to kind of meet you or have those type of conversations or the same degree of flexibility that you're now being able to express, then it's going to feel a little bit more challenging for you. Sometimes we need to break things, and what we need to understand is that in breaking it, we're also sort of building a new foundation for the future. So the new moon coming in on the 10th says, you know, let's definitely take what's been on your mind, and also this consideration of the ways in which you're wanting to invest in yourself, because I feel like there could be an opportunity. Now, it might arrive and you feel like maybe this is too big, maybe this is too much, maybe this is not quite the right time. You may be right in regards to that, Pisces, but what I would say is that you can certainly begin the preparation for it. You can think about what it's going to take, what you want to be doing behind the scenes, because there is a sense of some things going on behind the scenes in order to help support something that you're going to be much more invested and connected and aligned with as you move through the next few months. Now, just ahead of that new moon in Pisces, a heads up, we've got Mars squaring Uranus on the 9th, same day that Mercury shifts into Aries. There's a somewhat erratic quality around that. Now, it may spur you into action, particularly around that new moon. That might be what you need. You know, you might have sort of been sitting in the planning phase for too long, or kind of oscillating backwards and forwards with regards to something, but also be aware that there's a slight kind of tension and a sense of chaos that comes in around that, very much affecting our physicality as well. So just, you know, being extra mindful around that date. Six of Cups is saying that we need to sort of pull something that we've learned from the past and see how it now fits in where we are. And, you know, this isn't about looking upon the experiences through rose-tinted glasses. It's about being really honest with ourselves. You know, if we've experimented with certain things before, or if we've tried to have certain types of conversations, there's something about you kind of almost like pulling it back out because it's the comfort zone, or it's just like, well, I'm just going to go this way again because I can't find another way that's working. But there's something to learn from this. Now, even though you have changed and you've moved on, you know, you'll feel the clunkiness of it. It's almost just like if you try to kind of, you know, take something that, you know, you've moved so far beyond or is no longer relevant in the context of where you now find yourself, it's going to be really ill-fitting. And that's the sort of energy that I get coming up as well, you know, around that first part of March. Now, Venus is going to shift into your sign on the 11th, which again, from a sense of, you know, what's going on within your relationships, and also kind of as you're considering around your prosperity consciousness, you know, general sort of overall well-being in these important areas of your life. You know, there's conversations that are starting to feel like you're in a little bit more flow with yourself, but they might also ask something of you. 8 of Cups says it's time to move on. Now, we see the pairs here, 2 swans, 2 dragonflies, 2 birds, 2 butterflies. So there is a sense that even if you're moving on, you're still united or in partnership, or having that sense of feeling supported in the movement and the journey that you're taking. You know, this feels like a pathway that's been here for some time. So it's also a sense of not kind of completely stepping into the unknown. So what I will say to you is, if something is coming up through March where you know you have to walk away, or it's coming to an end, or you're ready to sort of move on, you are going to have quite a clear sense of what is coming next. I don't think that there's that complete, you know, sort of panic of like, oh my goodness, there's like nothing ahead of me, and feeling uncertain in that. I have a sense of you sort of, even if it's a little bit vague, even if you don't have all of the details, there's certainly things that are filling themselves into the blanks more and more as you move through March. It's quite a powerful month. There's a lot more positive aspects coming in this month, you know, but we do have the intensity of that Mars squaring Uranus, and of course we've also got this full moon lunar eclipse coming in Libra. Before that though, the sun shifting into Aries and equinox arriving on the 19th. And what I do think is going to happen, you know, in tandem as I look at that 8 of Cups, is going to be a genuine feeling of this is not sustainable. This is not sustainable. So there'll be something that you'll be considering. And, you know, you're really realizing that in order to maintain some sense of well-being, sanity, frankly, balance in your life, or in order to go after and pursue something that has become more and more of a priority for you, you know, you're going to get to that equinox, which of course is helping us to rebalance ourselves and have that, you know, kind of purification, that beautiful release, and, you know, embark upon what is the beginning of the astrological year, and for many a feeling that it's much more pertinent at this time, you know, to kind of begin and initiate things. So you're aware of what can't be sustainable. The Hanged Man in this instance, I feel, is telling me, of course Neptune ruled your ruler also, that we just have to change our perception or our perspective over something. And, you know, you might have been saying to yourself or others for some time, you know, it can't be done, or I want to change this, but I don't know how. There isn't a way. It's not going to work. And, you know, you're a lot more aware of it in March, and it just doesn't feel so heavy and intense. You know, perhaps in the beginning of this year and, you know, latterly in 2023, it just felt like quite a burden. There's a freshness and a sort of vibrancy that's coming through in March that helps you just feel, you know, along with your solar returns, just a little bit more prepared to just say, you know what, I'll find a way. I will find a way, because what you value and how you value it is changing. Now, I do think, you know, as we come upon this full moon lunar eclipse, of course, you know, this is a test of stability, and it's really like looking at the chapters of your key relationships. And we know that we've been working with these themes, and we will be right through to 2025 with the North-South node in Aries and Libra, this me versus we. You do feel like you're somewhat in limbo in regards to a specific situation with somebody. And, you know, that can feel a little bit challenging, especially if you're getting to a place where you're becoming a little bit more adaptable and you're wanting to make more decisions and you're feeling ready to kind of move and progress forth with something. The Hanged Man is kind of holding something back. Now, you know, that may translate that someone is holding something back. You yourself may be the one that needs to, and you'll kind of feel into that around that time of the month. You know, of course, understanding that these eclipse energies have, you know, an arc of influence that carries weeks and months. So it might be something that's already very known to you at the moment. Nonetheless, you know, the pause, if you like, that the Hanged Man brings and what emerges from it is quite powerful, because what we then see coming through is your Queen of Wands. I really like this because there's just a richness to what you see as possible. You know, sometimes we just come up against the brick wall and it's really intense and it's very difficult to think, how on earth are we going to scale or navigate this? It's not your experience in March, Pisces. You know, your attitude and your approach is far more can do. It's far more like, I'm just going to find a way, even if it still feels like there's a lot challenges around you. What I will say is, you know, in and around that energy of the full moon, you know, we're also working up to Goddess Pallas Athena shifting retrograde in Sagittarius, which does invite a look before you leap quality and perhaps a rethinking of some of the bigger plans that you might have had moving into the new year. Now, I'm not saying that these are not still on the table. What I am saying, though, is that the Queen of Wands is almost showing you, and you see how much growth has come in there with her sunflower. You know, it's almost saying perhaps this path or this approach is going to afford you a growth that's going to be much quicker. Yeah, now we're not looking for kind of instant gratification. That's not what it's about. However, there may just be an easier way. And, you know, more often than not, we'll also end up in situations and experiences where we're doing things the hard way, you know, and we're not always aware of it. Perhaps it's, you know, pertaining to the stories that we tell ourselves or circumstances that we're in. But your Queen of Wands this month is telling me that there is a much easier way to do this. And again, changing in perception of perspective around that full moon is really going to help you. And there's something about what's going on within a key relationship, or particularly perhaps even a group or a friendship dynamic, that's also going to kind of crack open a little bit. Something revealed around that full moon, you know, and the truth sort of coming to the surface that cannot be ignored. But if it's taken and channeled in the right way, I feel like it brings something really quite remarkable, actually, in terms of like what you can do with it, or what it means to you, or where it's going to take you. Okay, and you know, it's a reminder, of course, that the Queen of Wands at times can, you know, get a little hot-headed. You know, she's got that fire that she's bringing to a situation. So don't let the frustration, if it comes through in this month of March, you know, along with any sort of tension that's still simmering beneath the surface, put you in a place where you feel powerless or backed into a corner. It's not the reality. You always have choices. It may not be the choices that you want or are being presented to you in a way that you think is doable, but mark my words, like before the end of the month, and certainly through this season, you know, these eclipses are shaking things up to reveal pathways to you that you hadn't previously seen. Okay, and so even if you are behind the scenes, as I said, prepping an awful lot and it doesn't feel like you've then got an avenue to be able to start to deliver on that, whether that comes up in work or in the relationships or how you're trying to progress things in your world in March, understand that there will be clarity that comes through. And remember what I said, like less is more. So there might be an invitation as a result of this, you know, to strip something back, which you could feel a bit annoyed about. You might feel like, I don't want to scale back. I don't want to take this out. I don't want to slow this down. But there might be, you know, something that you're not quite seeing or understanding that is going to emerge for you that will really support something, as I said, actually ending up with faster growth. It's kind of like the analogy my guide's giving me of, like, you know, how you would prune your roses right back in the winter, and you would be like, oh my goodness, like, right, you know, to get them to blossom and flower, you know, more powerfully when they come into their season. So it's like sometimes we have to take away more than what we think, you know, should or looks good or looks right or feels right, in order to support something kind of almost having more space, more energy to be able to step into its own and really deliver in quite a powerful way for us, okay? So we also have another goddess, Vesta, shifting into water sign, fellow water sign of Cancer, right at the end of March. And, you know, there's something about, you know, really taking care of something close to home. Might be some, you know, something connected into family or something that needs to be dealt with within the kind of home environment, but it will be meaningful and it will matter to you, and therefore you will make time, or you ought to make time, is what my guides are saying. You know, it might feel difficult that you're being pushed and pulled in different directions, you know, around then, but honestly it will serve you well to just kind of, again, take a step back and go like, okay, let me get this dealt with and sorted, because then it's going to clear something in your mind. You know, if you don't do that, you're going to be trying to pursue or move forward, but it's constantly going to be taking up space and just draining your energy, is what I want to say, okay? So if you're new to the channel, Pisces, our last 3 cards we cover in the extended version of my reading. I talk for another 30 minutes or so. You'll also have the opportunity to have an answer to a personal question, and we look at a relationship card for you as well. And you can find all the links for that underneath the comment and description box. So I'm going to go ahead and clarify these cards, just see what direction and additional messages we're going to be looking at for you as we make our way into this really vibrant and powerful month of March. Coming into eclipse season, of course, is always going to be shifting around the trajectories of things. We've got 5 of Wands coming through here. Sometimes, you know, something that we really want, you know, is worth fighting for, is what I feel. Temperance showing up here. 3 of Cups, Page of Swords, 10 of Wands. There's that conditional energy, you know, and there's something maybe a little bit fractious on that Page of Swords in terms of conversations or, you know, what you're hearing, news and information that's kind of percolating, but we'll go into that a bit more. 6 of Cups, we've got the energy of the Moon and the 9 of Cups. 8 of Cups, the Chariot, love that. Queen of Pentacles and the Knight of Pentacles. 3 of Wands, 7 of Cups. Okay, all the decks I use are always listed in your comment section underneath. Please do check out my beautiful equinox energy activation this month. Support you with your rituals at this really sacred time of the year. Okay, we're going to look at Life Soul Vision Oracle, which is my own deck. You'll find all my sacred titles again listed over on the website if you're new to the channel, Pisces. Okay, Golden Ribbons of Light, Collective Heart. Spirit Wolf, Certainty of Trust. We have Spirit Crane, Earth Star Energy, and the Rainbow Dragon and the Wild Rose. Of course, celebrating the year of the Wood Dragon this year. Okay, let's have a look finally at the Energy Oracle deck for Pisces for the month of March. What do we have coming in here? Third chakra, Archangel Chamuel, beautiful relationship angel coming in to support you as you navigate what this full moon lunar eclipse in Libra is set to reveal. I hope you'll join me for the extended Pisces, and we'll continue to take this conversation 4th for another 30 minutes or so. Have a great month. Enjoy your solar returns. I will see you again next time. Bye for now.